Well, I have been spending a lot of time in the Western Pacific, working in Micronesia on the islands of Palau, Guam, the Federated States of Micronesia, that's made up of Pohnpei, Kosrae, Yap, and Chuuk, and also in the Marshall Islands. And what we've been doing there over the past few years is developing a radio drama program that has been, right now, I think we're broadcasting the 370th episode this week. And that has been a challenge, but it has been, in many ways, quite a rewarding experience for both us, the organization that I'm coming from, and also for the people of Micronesia. So I've been doing that. Prior to that, we've been working in the Caribbean and developing radio drama programs there. The program in the Pacific is very similar to the ones in the Caribbean as far as issues is concerned. For example, in the Caribbean, we had a lot of reproductive health issues. We had issues dealing with sexually transmitted infections, primarily HIV. We have issues with regards to the environment. So we have the similar issues in the Pacific. I think in the Pacific, the difference is that people are more reserved. People are very hush-hush about everything. Whereas in the Caribbean, we Caribbean people are very outspoken and very loud, and you don't have to ask us twice for us to lay out everything. But in the Pacific, it was very, very, very different. You go to the cultures and so on. People don't want to talk about stuff, which is one of the reasons why they have such a high rate of suicides in that part of the world. But the issues really, again, health, reproductive health, teenage pregnancy, there's poverty, status of women, and all of the things that go along with deprived people that are deprived financially and otherwise. Because in the Pacific, whereas people don't talk about issues that affect them, but if they can talk about the characters in the program, without, and in a way talking about themselves without actually mentioning themselves, then I think we're doing a good thing, because I've seen some really wonderful results from this program. In the Pacific, one of the biggest challenges was that we were covering a number of islands that range from the Marshall Islands, where you had one of the highest population densities in the world, to Kosrae and Yap, where you only have a few thousand people, and they want more people born. They actually tell you, do you know of a program that can help increase the population? And they're very religious. In Yap, for example, you can't use the word contraceptive in public. Well, how do you develop one generic program that appeals to the Marshallese that really want to see the population drop, and will not hesitate to start distributing condoms to everybody, to Kosrae, where if you want to buy a beer, you got to get a permit from the police. So how do you do a program? So those are some of the challenges that we had to develop a generic program that is, one, entertaining, because it has to be entertaining first, but at the same time touching on those issues so that when we do the evaluation, we can get the kind of results that we're looking for. We do a lot of research, a lot of pre-project research, so we are able to go into the communities before we even begin the writing, to get a sense as to what people are thinking and feeling. What are their attitudes towards sex? What are their attitudes towards contraceptives? What are their attitudes to religion and all of that sort of thing. And once you can get an understanding of that, and you can develop a program that is centered around responsibility, then it doesn't matter who it's reaching out to. You may want to have more children, but if you can't afford it, would you really want to have kids that you can't feed, that you can't send to school? Yeah, so I think once they understand that, once we, the writers and the producers of the program, understand that the program is really about responsibility and that it has to mirror what is going on, then it becomes easier to produce. Well, not easier to produce, but it helps guide us as to how do you produce a program that up to this day has not received any kind of negative criticism from anybody.